second incarnation.
It is.
When you actually, and it was the first one was very successful. I saw it. I loved it. Absolutely loved everything about it.
Thank you.
But when you actually have to revisit a show, what's involved with that?
Well, I think for me the most interesting thing was being able to be at the performances for as many as I possibly could, because you begin to then critique your work while it's still in a live environment, and while it's still a living, breathing kind of thing.
It can be very lonely when you're at the computer, can't it?
Absolutely. And we were above a pub.
Yeah.
We were above a pub, so
Yeah.
I could always have a quick pint in the interview.
So on a night when you thought, oh, tonight's a bit ragged. I don't know what I did with that bit of thing. I think I need
it
to
was
drink
gin. No, it was a really lovely thing to critique your own work whilst it was this kind of evolving live being, and it became clear to me that this show was kind of bursting at the seams in our 60-seat theatre, and really, deserved to be on a slightly bigger stage.
So the Southwark Playhouse is
Yes.
is a great choice.
Oh, I'm thrilled.
Yeah.
I mean, you can imagine as a writer.
Yeah.
My work's going on at the
And
side.
it'll feel enormous, I guess, once
Well, yeah, that's the plan.
Yeah.
I hope
What's
so.
the biggest change for you in this new incarnation?
I think a lot of it is about just distilling the three narratives. You saw the piece. You have
Yes.
three Judys and
Young Judy,
young
middle Judy.
Yeah, middle called Palace Judy.
Palace Judy.
And then CBS Judy.
Yeah.
So Lucy and Belinda and Helen.
Yeah.
Who are all, I'm thrilled, coming back with us.
Yeah. Now, Lucy, you have the unenviable task of playing the young Judy.
Yes, little Judy.
Little Judy. You play it really well.
Thank you.
I don't want to make it sound like that's incredulous. It's just that it's so hard. It's a different time.
Well, it's kind of difficult because I'm not 12, and I take Judy from being 12 to being a woman, being just before the Wizard of Oz, and so 17. So that's quite a time frame, and
And there, you seem to conjure up something that brings it out of us. Do you know what I mean? We sort of know Judy, or we think we know what Wizard of Oz Judy was.
I think that's the most familiar Judy that people have, because everyone's seen the Wizard of Oz. Yes. Everyone has this image of
And if
Dorothy.
you haven't, get on with it.
Then where have you been? But
Can you imagine? We all saw it how many times?
But every Christmas. So everyone knows that 17-year-old Judy. So for that, it does help me a bit, because people they have their image and they impose it a lot. But with the younger Judy, and when she was very young, and the Andy Hardy films, and that's something that seems to be the older generation really recognise. But I think it's up to the audience to kind of buy into it.
Did you do a lot of background to the psychology of the young Judy? Because surely that's where a lot of her insecurities came from.
Well, her background was very tough. I mean, it's all related to her mother, really, and how she was raised, and her relationship with her father, and her father dying and things. So that really paved the way for the future Judy that had such a tragic and wonderful life.
It's sort of a classic tragic showbiz story.
Yeah, it is. But she was always, even as a young age, she loved to she could make grown-ups laugh. She was very charismatic, and
you made me love you. I didn't want to do it. I didn't want to do it. You made me love you. And
vocally, is there anything that you had to do to study her vocally? Because you managed to do that very well as well.
I grew up listening to her singing and her voice, and it's a very unique voice.
It is
itself.
very. And her placement is...
Yeah, and being able to do that safely,
Yeah.
because you don't want to ruin your voice, because we've got,
And she's a classic belter, isn't it?
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
she belts, and
From
yet
tiny.
she sits right there on the front.
Yeah, from
with
a
a
very young age, she was just loud. So she, I'd say training is more about kind of getting the muscle tone in the throat of the constriction.
Yes.
But keeping it open, it's very hard
because
to
she was,
safely balance it. So
For the singers out there, they'll understand what
yeah.
For the non-singers, it's complicated.
All the singers just heard me say the word constriction and they went, ooh, yeah. I'm doing it safely then.
Are you excited about the transfer?
Unbelievably excited. I've been away out of London for the last 5 months, so being back in London and back in the hubbub of it all and doing such a wonderful show that had such a great response is magical.
Break a leg.
Oh, thank you very much. Thank you.
Just to tell Broadway that the two-a-day is back.
Belinda, you're Palace Judy.
I am Palace Judy.
How does that feel? To be playing Judy Garland?
It's very surreal, isn't it?
It is, and I imagine it's very difficult too.
Oh God, yeah. There's a lot of pressure to make sure.
What are we doing right this minute? We're putting on eyelashes?
I'm putting on some eyelashes.
And you got to get the right elements, don't you? With the eyes and.
Well, like I said, today's a workshop, so let's not be judging the.
Doing well, I think.
Well, yeah. And
What's
that's
the
why-
essence of Palace Judy, would you say?
Oh God, the essence of Palace Judy would. She just wants to be loved.
She just wants to be loved.
Absolutely, desperately, sort of seeking approval from her. She was honest. I think she was she was so down to earth and honest, and she loved everyone, and I think people fell in love with her because of that.
As long as he needs me, oh yes he does need me.
The interesting thing about Judy Garland is that we all know Judy, the whole world knows Judy Garland, and yet there's things that happen in the show that make you realise that you don't know her very well at all.
Yeah, I think so. I think people have got an idea of what they think Judy was, and I think they come and see the show and realise that her life was much more complicated, and a lot of what happened to her informed the way that she behaved as an adult. And also, I think some people, and it's not just a question of taste, but some people don't actually realise just how phenomenally talented she was.
Yeah.
She was a genius.
Yeah.
I mean, she could do things that she'd never been taught to do.
Yeah.
And could do them from a very early age.
Must be daunting to have to take on a role like that.
It's very challenging.
Hey,
yeah,
Helen, you're going to be playing Judy.
Yeah, it's like, okay. I'll give
Where
it
do
a
you
try.
start? Do you read up about her?
Yeah. Well, I've loved Judy Garland since I was about 18 years old and been quite obsessed with her. So I'd already read a lot just from my own interest in her. And then obviously when we were all casting this, we watched lots. YouTube, brilliant.
Of course,
lots of videos, watching how she sang and how she moved, and her accent, her expressions, and all that. And yes, reading lots of bios and everything. I think it's just been the most fun research I've ever had to do for the way.
May I say, congratulations on your first outing.
Thank you.
And all the best of luck for Southwark.
Thank you very much.
Because it's going to be fantastic.
Yeah.
Forget your troubles, come on, get happy. You better chase all your cares away. Shout hallelujah, come on, get happy. Get ready for the judgment day. The sun is shining, come on, get happy. The Lord is waiting to take your hand. Shout hallelujah, come on, get happy. We're going to the promised land.
The stories overlap, they overlay each other. There are various points when all three Judys are on the stage together. What am I trying to say? What narrative device am I trying to evoke here?
Yeah. I loved the part when they were all sort of interacting. It was very moving.
And again, you because I saw it so many times, you begin to realise actually that's getting me in a way that I never believed it would.
Yes.
So there's a little bit more of that.
Yeah.
There's certainly the new numbers. That we're putting into the story, I think really push the narrative forward.
Sure.
And this piece is a kind of hybrid. It's a play with music. It's a musical that's kind of leans towards play. it's a very strange beast, and what we're trying to do, I think, with this run is just kind of cement the sense that Judy's life was always bigger. It was always bigger than anything else, and so what this one will do, I think, is just evoke a little bit more of a sense of that.
Sure. And over the pub, Southwark Playhouse, Broadway.
Well, who knows?
Why not?
Maybe, you never know.
We look forward to it.
Ealing Broadway.